Let's play a game. Is it Tubi or is it just low budget? The story begins with a family watching a Tyler Perry production. Cece calls her big back husband, Michael, and he gets pissed, knowing full well that Michael is another man's name. Everett speaks to his daughter Ocean privately and lies to her that he'll be gone for a while and will come back for her, but he leaves and files for a divorce. 6 months later, the police come for Everett and take him into custody for allegedly taking advantage of Ocean. Cece, on the other hand, mocks him and hopes he rots in jail. As they're dragging the fat man away, Everett calls Cece a cracker. Later in court, the judge asks Ocean if her father touched her, and Cece nods at her to agree. Without verbal confirmation, the judge sentences Everett to 10 years in prison. If that's all that takes, then why has no one gone down for the Epstein files? 10 years later, Everett doesn't contact Ocean after he's released. All grown, Ocean searches for her mom, but Cece doesn't reply. Then Ocean looks for food, but it's a cracked-out house, so there's only crackers. She leaves to find her mother and goes to another house a few blocks away. She finds a cracked-out man.
Ain't no motherfucking CC in here. The fuck out of here.
Then, she finds Cece in bed with Chester. Cece calls Ocean over and introduces the two. Then the cracker allows Chester to take advantage of her own daughter, even restraining Ocean herself. Where's the good man and the Asian chick when you need them?
She's a tiger in a bed.
Later, Ocean cries in the shower and then goes to sleep on the couch. But when Cece finds her, she forces her to go to school. At school, Richmond, one of Ocean's classmates, calls her a hoe and doesn't apologize despite the teacher's orders, so she calls for security and kicks him out. Later, Bree, a bully who happens to be Richmond's sister, fights Ocean for being the cause of her brother's suspension. To everyone's surprise, Ocean defends herself and fights back. It looked a little too real for a second there. After school, Miss Becker, Ocean's teacher, drives her home and tries to advise Cece to be a proper parent, but Cece doesn't hear her out. After Becker leaves, Cece goes inside and sees Ocean in the bathroom crying, so she scolds her but then asks her to sleep with Chester. Ocean does not want to lay with Mr. Two Braids with halitosis, reminding Cece that she's 16 years old. Cece switches gears and tells Ocean she's no longer a child. She complains that she can't keep fending for them and Ocean should step up. Later, Ocean dreams of being forced by a diabetic-eyed, big-back fatty in his car. She wakes up and sees jump-scare Chester in her room and asks him what he's doing there and where her mother is. Chester beats around the bush and praises her, saying he watched her grow from a child to a princess. Puzzled, she asks him why he wants to groom her, but Chester calls it a method of helping her mature into a fine queen. She then reminds him that he is in a relationship with her mother, but Chester calls their relationship transactional. He tells her to think of him like a family friend. Then he climbs into her bed and takes advantage of her. Lord, take this child's pain, double it, and give it to everyone on the Epstein files. An hour later, Chester argues with Cece, who plans to ditch Ocean and move on with her life. He keeps telling her that Ocean is a child and she shouldn't leave. But then Cece reminds him of what he's done with the so-called child. Meanwhile, Ocean hears them arguing and learns that her mom wants to leave her in Chester's care and won't mind if he turns her into a street hoe. Cece gets in a car with a Mr. Beluga and drives away. Chester sees Ocean crying and scolds her, telling her to step up and they'll be tight just like he was with Cece. Time passes and Ocean returns to school. She has become more popular than ever after her fight with the bully. One time during break, Mike walks up to her during her discussion with his sister, and he starts flirting with her. After school, Chester picks her up and breaks the sad news to her about how he doesn't have the funds to take care of her. He then drives her to different spots to have her work in clubs and also be an escort, but they reject her because she's too young. Chester often coerces Ocean into crude acts and he hits her if she doesn't cooperate. One time they hear a knock at the door, and when Chester opens it, a hooded figure shoots him and scares Ocean out of the house. Thankfully, the scum dies, but Ocean starts to starve without money. She goes back to school and tries to get back with Mike, but he rejects her, saying she dresses like a hoe. Ms. Becker tries to talk Ocean out of her lifestyle, but Ocean has no choice because it's for her survival. Days later, Ocean stays outside hoping to see her mother and often curses Cece for ruining her life. One day, Kim sees her and learns of her hustle after Chester's death, so she offers to introduce her to Lucky. Before taking her to meet Lucky, a pimp formerly known as Slick Back, but he clearly should have been named Big Back. She takes Ocean to Lucky, who scolds two other ladies for not adhering to one of his rules. Kim tells Lucky that Ocean is the spitting image of Cece. Bitch. Where? And that's actually an insult to Ocean. Lucky ends up having her do some nasty things to him and immediately hires her. Some months pass, and Ocean comes across a client named Michael. He drives her to a hotel to have his needs taken care of, but out of curiosity, he asks for her age. Once he learns her story and realizes she's a minor and also Cece's kid, he starts choking. He hands her his business card and politely excuses himself, informing her to do whatever she wants with the room since he paid for it. Ocean returns the next day to Lucky's place, and her colleagues tell her she's in trouble. As soon as she meets Lucky to return his share of the cash she made, he breaks a bottle on her head and insults her for breaking the rules and staying overnight with a customer. He then yells at her to freshen up and get back on the streets. Nah, this fedora boomer needs to eat his ham hock and wrap it up. After he leaves, Kim goes to console Ocean in her room and tells her to rest while she covers for her. The following day, Kim prepares food for Ocean, and Ocean thanks her for her compassion. She appreciates Kim for her efforts so far, and Kim opens up to her past and they bond. Meanwhile, Cece steals from one of her clients and he catches her and hits her in the face. Sometime later in Michael's law firm, Everett calls Michael's office under the name Grooming. He threatens Michael, showing him incriminating evidence in a file where Michael was with Ocean, and then blackmails him into promising to get Ocean off the streets and set her up for life. Failure to do so, and Everett will send the photos to Michael's wife and the media. May this blackmailing father find me, because mine is missing. As Ocean tries to get used to the street lifestyle, her body can't keep up. At one point, one of her clients asks her to literally toss his salad and eat his cake. This is her 13th reason, so she decides to take a break. Unfortunately for her, Lucky sees her slacking off and he pounces on her for not working. Elsewhere, Cece gets a call from her boss, Mitch, who asks for her whereabouts, but she lies to him that her last client, Reno, beat her and robbed her. Mitch goes to the hotel and sees her bruised face. Mitch looks like he got a bruised face himself, but it's just his diabetic dark spots. Mitch asks her where Reno is and then goes to the liquor store to look and shoots him multiple times. Back at Lucky's, Lucky gets paranoid due to the police investigation regarding Chester's death. He takes his frustration out on Ocean and tells her to leave, but she begs him and tells him she wasn't the one who killed Chester. Suddenly, he hears a knock on the door and tries to hide his Coca-Cola under the sofa. Realizing it's Kim, he gets mad at her for letting him waste his Coke. As he argues with her, he hears another knock, and this time, a masked man enters the room and points a gun at him. Lucky pleads with the man not to shoot and then tries to grab his gun, but the man shoots him and then threatens the girls to keep their mouths shut. After he leaves, they pack their bags and loot Lucky before leaving his place. Sometime later, the police see Kim and Ocean sleeping in a vehicle in broad daylight, so they interrogate them. As soon as they learn one of them is Ocean, they arrest the girls and take them to jail. Everett calls Michael and informs him that Ocean is in jail for attempted murder. He orders Michael to get her out in 3 days or he'll show his wife the photos. Later in the cell, Ocean calls Michael and reports her situation to him. He calmly responds to her and learns that her bail is $250,000 for double homicide. He calms her down and promises to show up at the station. Joyfully, Ocean reports the outcome of the call to Kim, but then worries about her. Kim tells her that she isn't a newbie and she'll find her lesbian bodyguard. All she gotta do is give her Venus flytrap every now and then. Worried, Ocean promises to tell Michael about Kim and hopes he can get them both out. During that period, Mitch enters his room and sees Cece smoking, trying to get high. He gets mad at her and hits her before leaving the room. The next day, Mitch returns and sees Cece sprawled on the bed and is high again. He gets fed up with her and cuts ties. Later, Michael shows up at the station and speaks to Ocean. She tells him about Kim and he agrees to help her. Before leaving, he assures her that she'll be out within the next few days. A day later, in one of the cops' houses, the masked gunman makes his way to the cop who arrested Ocean and Kim and orders him to get the girls out of jail within the next 24 hours. He then shows the cop a recording of how they've been falsely accusing people and framing them to get rich. Realizing that he's been had, the cop agrees to do everything. Meanwhile, Melissa, a fellow inmate with a nasty wig, has some ties with Kim in the past, approaches Kim, stabs her multiple times, and she dies. A day later, Michael shows up at the station and informs Ocean that she and Kim should pack their stuff and get ready to be called out of prison. But she breaks the news to him that Kim got killed in jail. Although shocked, Michael tells her to stay safe and that he'll be coming for her. The next day, he picks Ocean up and takes her to a new place he got for her. He hands her the keys to the crib and a vehicle on the condition that she goes back to school. 6 months later, Ocean welcomes Michael into her crib, and she hops on him, y'all. This scene was so graphic as he eats her notorious VAG. Whoever wrote this is in hell. After that, he receives a business call, so he takes his leave. Then Cece shows up drunk at Ocean's crib, and Ocean, irritated, asks her why she's around. Cece then brags about knowing Michael longer than Ocean and tells her not to gatekeep him. She vows to continue asking Michael for money till the very end, and Ocean kicks her out of the house. Later, Ocean goes to Melissa's birthday party. Upon getting there, she hands Melissa a gift, and Melissa introduces her to Drew and Chuck. Drew, being a pimp, quickly takes Melissa to their room to eat some birthday cake, leaving Chuck alone with Ocean. Ocean tries to have a conversation with Chuck, remembering she's seen him before, but the dude's morbidly obese Oz gets on top of her. Immediately, the masked gunman shoots him twice and then goes inside to shoot Melissa and Drew. When he gets back, he sees that Ocean got hit with a bullet, so he removes his mask and reveals he's Everett, her father. He tries to stay with her, but after hearing the sirens, he flees the house. Shortly after, a medic team shows up. They check Ocean out and see that she died. Ocean's last thoughts before she passed is that she spent her last moments with the only person who loved her, and then she found out she was pregnant with Michael's child. She hoped her child wouldn't go through the Ocean's view. The creation of this movie was diabolical, having that poor girl go through the ringer, only for it to end this way. What did you guys think of this one?
Hey, if you like this video, make sure you subscribe now and turn on the notification because YouTube isn't recommending my videos. And if you'd like to watch more foolishness, click here or here.